We are chatting today how to maximize your business this summer without working 24/7. So, today we're going to be diving into, is it possible for your business to still grow over summer while working less? I know a lot of you watching, you're not only working, but you have kids, and the kids might be home, and it might be feeling even more difficult than normal because you've also just had them home for homeschooling and all of that, right? I will tell you, I love summer so much. I live here in Wisconsin. I live all year long to hold out for our summer. Like every minute of it, I want to enjoy it. I want to be outside going on walks and pool time and hanging out with the kids and cookouts and s'mores and all of that stuff. Okay. So I will say I want that, but at the same time, I don't want to lose all the momentum that I've gained since January, right? If you have these big goals set for 2020 and then 5 months in, you're going, okay, but it's summer, I'm scrapping it. You're not going to hit what you want to hit, okay? It's going to be really difficult for you to jump back in September and then hit the goals that you had set back in January. Like we forget, we can't take off 3 months over summer, take off all of Christmas and all of the month of December, and then still hit the goals that we want to hit, right? So what I want you to understand here is real entrepreneurs, they don't check out for summer without having a team in place moving their business forward. So if you hear somebody say like, oh no, I take off 6 weeks and we travel to Europe or we do this or we do that, right? They most likely have a dream team behind them working for them, all right? So you might not have that luxury if it's just you, if you're a solopreneur or you really have a few contractors or virtual assistants, but you don't actually have people moving your business forward without you, okay? It's kind of like if you set out to lose weight and you are committed to eating healthy Monday through Thursday, but then you are completely scrapping the weekend. Friday to Sunday, you're going to eat whatever you want. It's not that you can't lose weight, but it most likely is going to be a lot harder for you to do that than if you were to say, I'm just going to have one cheat day or one cheat meal, right? We start to cheat all summer long and then go, why isn't this business what I wanted it to be or where it was moving forward, okay? So in today's training, we are going to cover setting a consistent work schedule over summer, how to set boundaries for summer to maximize our available working hours. So I want to hear from you. How many of you are cutting back your hours for summer? And if so, what boundaries do you have in place to really make sure you stick to it? And then number 3, the only things you should be focusing on when you are cutting back your hours, okay? All right, guys, let me know who's on, who's watching, and let's dive in. So number 1, setting a consistent working schedule. I want you to ask yourself, how much time or how much do you want to work? What does that look like? Okay. Maybe it's easier for you to say, here's when I'm not going to be working. Okay. So what time are you going to be waking up? What time are you going to be going to sleep? And more on that in a minute. But for me, I've decided specifically, I'm going to work 3 full working days. I'm going to be working Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay. Those 3 days, my kids will be, whether it's daycare or my mom's, they're going to be out of the house and I am going to be working 9 to 3 on those 3 days. Okay. Now on my off days, I've decided that I'm still going to be working in the mornings and I'm probably going to be kind of checked out for the rest of the day around 10 o'clock or so, depending on what I've got going on, what I'm working on, things like that. Okay. So even just putting in an hour or 2 on a Tuesday or a Friday in the morning, you will be so surprised how effective those hours are because I only have an hour. What am I going to work on? How do I really make sure I'm effective and get things done? You're probably not going to be just like browsing social media or like being busy because I've only got an hour. So all of a sudden, those off days become incredibly effective, okay? Now, when you set those down, when you figure out those hours, I want to make sure it's on your calendar and your family is on board. You've got all the necessary information out. You've got the kids set up wherever you're going to have them set up. Whatever it is, everybody knows what's happening. Cool? All right. Number 2, I want you to keep your wake up and going to bed times consistent, okay? Now, you don't have to keep the same hours as you normally do. So let's say you wake up at 5 a.m. during the school year and you're like, I want to sleep in till 6, right? You can do that. But what I'm saying is just figure out when you're going to wake up and when you're going to go to sleep and then stay consistent. I find that if you just think, oh, it's summer, I can do what I want, all of a sudden you're spending a lot of your time staying up late, watching TV, and then wasting your morning time to really get things done, okay? So for me specifically, I'm going to wake up in the summer around 6 a.m., okay? My kids will be sleeping a little bit longer than normal. Like I pretty much think I have from 6 to 8 to get things done, okay? So for me specifically, I am still suggesting that you have that morning time, that you have that evening time. But what I want you to see here is maybe the morning you just spend it on journaling and meditating and listening to podcasts and all of that. You might want to actually take a good chunk of that to move the needle forward and to get things done. Okay. So this morning, for instance, we're already on summer break. My kids ended school on Friday. So we're officially in summer planning mode, which is why I thought, okay, you're going to want to hear this and figure out what that looks like for you specifically. Okay. So knowing that we're in this mode, what happened today was I woke up at 6. I had from 6 to 8 to work and do whatever I wanted to do. So for the first hour, I was meditating, journaling, podcasting. I do like some stretching, some yoga. I am incredibly tight. Most entrepreneurs are who work on a computer. My back is killing me. I am stretching out my back because if I already go into my morning feeling uncomfortable, it's even harder to get things done. So I do things like that. Then I immediately jumped into productive work. So when I say productive, I mean you're actually producing results. So for me specifically, I am doing a workshop coming up here in 2 weeks, and I was revamping all of my content. So I was going into work mode right away, getting content done. I got so much done by 8 a.m. before I actually had to like transition into mom mode, right? So I really want you to think about what are you doing in your morning, and does your miracle morning does it need to adjust, okay? One thing that we're gonna be doing as a family is keeping everybody's bedtime and wake up times pretty consistent. Kids will still be going to sleep about 8 p.m. I'll have about an hour to myself with my husband where we can just like watch TV, just kind of crash. And then my goal is to still be sleeping by around 9:30 every single night so that I can wake up every morning between 5:30 and 6. I know that my mornings are my sweet spot. It's my zone of genius. I'm able to be creative, right? You've got to start to assess like when you're able to put in good quality work. If I try to put in that hour at 3 p.m., my brain is fried. Like, have you noticed when you're most productive and what that looks like? Okay. Now that step 1, is like picking your hours and assessing that schedule. Step 2 is holding yourself accountable and then keeping your boundaries. I have a new book coming out next month called The Implementation Code. And in that book, you're going to see me talking about your ideal yes, okay? Basically, it's about setting boundaries and then deciding like what is an ideal yes and what is a no or a postponing it, okay? A lot of times in summer, you're going to be distracted or that shiny object syndrome is going to pop up. And because you have limited hours, you've got to get really, really good at specifying what is an ideal yes and what is I'd love to, but I can't until September, right? I'd love to, but this isn't going to work out right this second, all right? So, for instance, I am saying no to appointments on Tuesdays and Fridays. I just told you like those are going to be my off days, right? Now, does that mean I'm never, ever going to work on a Tuesday or Friday? Not necessarily. Because there could be an ideal yes that pops up. So what if there's like this huge opportunity, like just think of a big collaborator, somebody that you've been dying to work with, get on their podcast, whatever. It is like a dream to you. It's like your Oprah moment, right? So if that's the case, what would be an ideal yes? And when would you say, I'm breaking my rule, I want to do this? I want you to get really crystal clear on an ideal yes, okay? So the other day I was looking at my June foot traffic formula schedule, my coaching schedule when I was going to be in there. And I wanted to do this bonus training and I almost caught myself throwing it on a Friday. And I was like, no. I've got to find Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday a time to fit it in there, right? So you've got to get really, really crystal clear, especially when you control it. Foot traffic formula, is that an ideal yes? Well, yeah, but I picked the schedule. So I don't need to put something on a Friday if I can control my Monday, Wednesday, or my Thursday schedule. Thank you for sharing, Chelsea. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's what I want you to really start to do, okay? For me, the reason I'm batching them Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, honestly, I just love having the whole day off where I'm not having to do my hair, put on makeup. Tuesdays and Fridays, I am not going to be getting dressed and, getting ready for the day. Like those are going to be days where I'm swimming in the pool and hanging out with the kids. Again, that's my preference. I'm not telling you that's what you should do. I'm telling you why behind the way that I've scheduled it, okay? Some of you might want to do 9 to noon Monday through Friday and take off the rest of the day. That might feel like a better fit for you and your family. Whatever that is, just figure that out, okay? All right, step number 3, figuring out what you should be focusing on this summer while your hours are limited, okay? So I am asking myself, what can only I be doing, okay? If I can outsource something, I'm going to, all right? But there are a few things that I either can't outsource or I just don't want to quite yet. So again, I'll still be obviously coaching in Foot Traffic Formula. I have my Powerhouse Mastermind that's year round. Like I'll still be with them. I'm going to be going live and showing up for my community about 2 times per week. I've got those scheduled on my calendar. Again, key thing right there. They're scheduled. I'm not just thinking, I hope this happens. I know it's going to happen because it's on the calendar. I've reserved time for it, okay? I've also blocked out time to do about 4 interviews a week on other people's podcasts. So my team is still actively pitching me to other shows. We've got times blocked out on Wednesday and Thursday afternoons to do recording. Now, if somebody said, oh, I'd love to have Stacy, I only record on Fridays. Unless that show is an ideal yes, and it is like, how could I turn this down? I will basically tell them, I only have Wednesday, Thursday. Otherwise, I could plan this for September. Like, let me know. I will not just be saying yes to every single podcast that wants me on a Friday, right? An ideal yes is how they break the boundary and get on my calendar because I'm excited about it. It becomes more exciting than swimming in the pool, right? It becomes more exciting than fill in the blank with whatever you were going to be doing for sure, okay? So your homework for today, I want you to go back through this training. You might need to rewatch it and pause it on these certain notes because I want you to go through and figure out, when am I working? What boundaries am I putting into place? What are ideal yeses? What are things that I just don't have time for over summer that I'm going to pause until September? I've already started saying no to a lot of things. People asking for certain collaborations or podcasts or anything like that, where I've had to actually say, I've completely blocked out my calendar until September, okay? You can say that to people. You can, right? You just have to understand that that opportunity may not be here in September. So you have to weigh what makes the most sense for you right now, okay? So then I want you to decide what's important to you and your business, and then what must be done to keep your business moving in summer, okay? What needs to happen now and what can wait until summer, all right? So I want to make sure, tag me on social media, tell me what your takeaway was, what you're going to commit to doing. I want to hear from you. If you haven't heard, our next round of our free Foot Traffic Formula Workshop kicks off in 2 weeks on June 1st. Like I said, I'm completely revamping again, really tweaking. And you're like, wow, she does that a lot. We're always listening. We're always observing. We're asking our community, like, what was good for you here? What do you need there, etc. Completely revamping. Like the first 3 days of content is changing. Go to stacytushel.com/workshop. We've got a pop-up Facebook group for this round. So it's not going to be held in our regular, larger Facebook group. So make sure to get in there. And then on Wednesday, I interviewed Susan Fowler. I know some of you probably are big fans of hers. She co-authored The 1 Minute Manager, which is a phenomenal book if you have not read that book before. So she's actually coming on. We're talking goal setting, her new book. It's the perfect time of year to be going through this, and it goes really nicely with today's content as well. So if you're really thinking about restructuring for summer, this is going to be a great episode for you. It's on the Foot Traffic Podcast episode, or Foot Traffic Podcast. So go subscribe so you get notified when that episode is released on Wednesday, okay? Again, go to stacytushel.com/workshop, and that'll get you signed up for the new workshop we've got going on in 2 weeks from now on June 1st. I know you want to have the best 2020 possible. Some of you might be discouraged right now with everything that's going on. It is still possible. But if you think you've just been derailed this past quarter, the past like 2-3 months, and now you're heading into a period where you're going to slow down, I want you to understand that 2020 is probably not going to look like the way you wanted it to look. And I believe you still have so much potential to making this be like the best year you've ever had, your breakthrough year. But you have to be committed to taking those steps and taking that action. If you're trying to slow down or hit the pause button, I need you to understand that 2020 is not going to be hitting those goals you set to hit, right? We've got time, but you've got to take advantage of every single minute. And that doesn't mean working like a crazy person, right? You can still work 2 days, 3 days, whatever that looks like in summer. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you on the podcast. Remember, this week, Wednesday's episode is Susan Fowler. See you soon.